You and me, we both love food. I know we both love food. You know how you have those discussions with your friends. Oh, is KFC or is McDonald's better? Oh, does KFC have the better nuggets or does McDonald's have the better nuggets? Or what about the fries? Or is Colonel Sanders or Ronald McDonald a better basketball player? Like, you always have those discussions with your friends, right? But I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about the Yoshi's Diner buildings, and I'm going to put them all up against my criteria, my amazing specific criteria, and I am the gatekeeper of all of the stores, so you know that it's going to be good. So I've got 4 criteria. I've got the accessibility of the store, the features of the store, the aesthetic of the store, and how many characters get a costume from the food from the store. You get what I'm saying? The accessibility is going to be, you know, how well can a family of 4 get to this place? Like, is the road asphalt, normal asphalt? Is it dirt? Is there any locations around it? Is there any landmarks near it? Like, all those things will make the accessibility go up or down depending on where it is, you know what I mean? And then you've got the aesthetic. So, like, how well does it mesh with the surrounding area? Is the color nice? Is the concept of the building nice? You'll see what I mean. Then we've got the features of the store. So that will be like, can we use the parkour mechanics at this store? Like, is there anything that boosts your mobility? Like, is there any dash panels? Is there any grind rails? Any glider ramps? Is there any collectibles there? Those will definitely determine, you know, like, would people want to actually go to this store if it's fun or if it's not fun? You know what I mean? And last, we've got the amount of characters that get a costume from the store's food. So, like, some of them you'll get 5 missing costumes, or you'll get 10 costumes only, or like someone will get a perfect 24. There are 24 characters that can get costumes, by the way. So if you're not understanding the criteria, it's okay. It's better if you see for yourself. Here we go. This is just an utter failure. You can't come here. It's on a floating island. How are you supposed to get here? And oh my god, this is so ugly. What an appalling decision to make this the Akon store. Why not make a unique one? No ruined store, no gold store, nothing, just plain boring brown. The cannon here may lead to one platform, but you take the next one and you're dead. Dangerous as hell. Other than that, you've got a mission and that's it. The food is mid as well. Get me out of here. This is disgraceful. This place is so lucky that it's Place Japan. If it wasn't for that, then this store might have gotten below 10. The aesthetic is beautiful, almost perfect in its colors and its environment. However, it's not my favorite aesthetic. That's literally all I can say positively about this place. You've got basically non-existent features, and when they appear, they go absolutely nowhere. You've got a couple rocks to trick off onto the wall, and where does the wall go? Nowhere. You just go on it and you've experienced all there is to experience about this place. That's if you can even get there, since it's freaking overflowing with water. The bottom of the store just doesn't exist. And the food is horrible. 15 characters miss out on a costume. This one is so ugly. Oh my god. I know the colors are meshing together, and in a vacuum it looks like it belongs, but it's all just poo brown. It genuinely feels like I'm in a field of burnt grass, and in my home country's desert in one. And wow, it's not a great combo. If they were making a competition for the ugliest store, this would win. The accessibility is really the only alright thing about this, because it's in the middle of 3 courses, and one of them is Peach Stadium. However, the points are gone because it's in a field of nothing. And the same thing can be said for the features. It has a mission and 2 short power lines to grind on. You can jump onto the roof, but there aren't any additional buildings or anything near this to justify it any higher. The pancakes do give 16 characters costumes though. What a mess. Who the hell is coming up to the top of a deadly fortress in the sky to go get some freaking bread of all food? You think a family of 4 is getting shot out of a cannon or climbing up a broken uphill bridge to get here? And that's not even mentioning the aesthetic. Garbage. Doesn't remotely fit anything about the track. Ah, yes, let me be a peaceful desert-looking restaurant atop a deadly fortress with volcano ash coming out the background. This place does have some positives though. There are a few pretty good features here. What it lacks in looks and accessibility, it makes up for with a telescope, multiple gliders, a question block panel, big-ass spiral, and probably the best view so far. At least they're capitalizing on that. The food is only just above mid though, with 9 characters missing in outfit here. What the hell is a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas? What happened here? There's a train station Yoshi's from the other side of the map near a beach. This is just appalling, even if the building in a vacuum looks nice. And it's so boring, there isn't anything interesting to say about it. You try jumping on the mountain from the grind rails, they're too short and the mountain's too far away. Trying to do anything else? You can't. It's not even like the fence is behind the store. This store is also just out of the way on a dirt road as well. It's not even connected to anything besides one exit of the main road. And it's a really awkward turn. This place is lucky the food gives everyone but Bowser Jr. a costume.
I mean, it's alright, like...
There's only one reason anyone's coming here, and it's not the big three reasons. This is just a mess. Train aesthetic in the beach biome, in the middle of 4 courses, but no houses, buildings, or anything interesting around the store. Nothing to do at the store. Like, this is just poo-poo. The only good thing about this store is the amazing amount of costumes you get, but Bowser Jr. ruined a perfect score. Other than that, there's just nothing here. Has to be the most style over substance store yet. The beach aesthetic combined with Cooper Beach 1's remoteness is just chef's kiss looks-wise. It genuinely looks like paradise. If this was my home, I'd never leave this one island. However, this store pretty much does the other 2 of the big 3 criteria the worst out of any store. You can't jump off the trees onto anything, you can't jump on the roof, you can't grind on any rails, there are no missions or collectibles besides a question mark panel, and there's genuinely nothing else redeemable in the features department other than the question block panel. What makes it worse is that there are chairs and tables set up here for who exactly? The store is genuinely stranded in the middle of nowhere. It's not even like it's inside Koopa Troopa Beach. It's not even in the party section. Just stuck out in the open sea on a remote island. That will definitely be popular with the locals, yeah. It's a disappointment to me and the 9 characters who miss out on costume. This Yoshi's looks so mystical. Fairy Tales wouldn't be the same without the specific store included. You've got an acorn and rustic looking building with some great color matching going on with the massive tree and all the lily pads and water. It looks like it fits so naturally into its environment. However, who's gonna come and appreciate this building when the road just disappears when you try to go to this one? I don't know what Foreman Spike was thinking when he built this one, but it's all style and no practicality. It's not even like it's connected to any other lily pads or any tree stumps. You just have to swim there. You might as well just put it underwater so the Bikini Bottom residents can have a reliable competitor to the Krusty Krab. It also doesn't have much to do besides jump from the lily pads, although you do get a decent amount of height from doing so. And the food is alright, with 8 characters missing out on a costume here. Painfully mid. This store has no flair, no bravado, no excellence. It's just one of the most it's there stores the whole time. So what kind of features do you have? You've got one ramp next to a Toad House. No, there isn't anything else. Also, the blue cow aesthetic really doesn't look the greatest, but it doesn't look very tacky either. It's in an uncomfortable middle ground. It's like trying to decide whether it wants to be a tennis player or a table tennis player, so it ends up playing bat tennis instead. At least it's smack bang in the middle of 3 courses, so many people will come across it on a dirt road, but it's so boring and offers barely any costumes, so I wouldn't see any reason why people would voluntarily come here. In all seriousness, I do really like this aesthetic and it makes me so eager to go there. Although the creativity in terms of having food on the roof or having a specific design quirk, like how the petrol stations have a larger roof, is lacking. I feel like the overall design here is just perfect. Just not weird enough or distinct enough. The colors also blend with the autumn leaves very nicely. The blue is a nice touch of coolness. But that's the only highlight from this one. The features are basically non-existent except for jumping off the rail and onto a rock to get onto the hill nearby. That's it though. It's not even like you can jump to the mountain from the grind rail. Disappointing. To make matters worse, it's so secluded despite being in between 2 tracks. The roads here are all dirt, so cars are rare to pass by. The food is also terrible for costumes, because 15 characters missed them. While I love the colors and the look of the store with its wooden barrel aesthetic, it really doesn't match the colors or materials used in DK Spaceport. At all. Also, who is getting to this place? It might be convenient for the workers on site, but if Lil Timmy needs to stop at the bottom of this place to go piss his pants, he might as well just use the ocean. Then again, I'm not sure how the workers got there. The store also has almost nothing surrounding it besides a couple ramps, so Lil Timmy can't play around a lot while he waits for his food. But that food is definitely worth the wait. Every character that gets a costume receives one. Who's driving to the desert just to go to Yoshi's? Unless you're working there or going hiking, you're not coming here. Then again, if you do actually come here, it's in a pretty good spot near the water in the boiling hot desert. But even when you do get your food, where are you gonna sit down? Where are all the features? You've got a campfire at the back, but the sand is gonna be burning your butt before the food even hits your mouth. That being said, the purple color is pretty nice, and the crossboard windows and yellow accents on the roof are cool additions. It's just not anything special. 4 characters also miss out on the costumes. The only thing this store does right is the aesthetics. I'm such a sucker for the beach theme, and it's obviously going to be here. It's in Peach Beach of all places. But it doesn't change that I think it's absolutely perfect despite it being some simple colors. The accessibility of this place might look good on paper. It's in a racetrack, a market themed one. It's on the most ideal place to grab a bite to eat at the beach, which is on the beach. But there's one major problem.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
Who is driving on that stretched piece of dough of a road? This is genuinely traffic hell, and it's not safe at all. If the tide rises, boy oh boy, you're getting either stuck here, not getting there, or drowning. I appreciate that this store has a half pipe, but this store also has cataquacks roaming the beach. That is so dangerous for families, and especially kids that don't know what these are. The fried food also gives a solid amount of costumes as well, but 9 characters miss out. Wow, that jungle leaf building is absolutely stunning. I love how it looks like a modernized caveman house. You don't really see that often unless my mind is playing tricks on me. It makes me feel like I've traveled to an alternate universe where cavemen are selling their houses on realestate.com for 10 wolf bones, 2 cheetah skins, and 3 bags of berries. Except this isn't a caveman's house. I love the bone support beams, the leaf roof, and the rustic atmosphere of this place. That being said, what kind of customers are heading over here? There isn't anything near this place other than a car rental. That car rental is also in the most remote place for a car rental. I think it'd be going out of business soon. It's all about the foot traffic, and there isn't any reason to have a look, because there isn't much here other than a mission. You can jump from a grind rail to a tree, but it goes nowhere as per usual, and it's pretty disappointing. Just like the amount of people that don't get a costume here. It's 8 if you're curious. This is one of those stores that once again you think, this is the store of all time. The aesthetic is just kind of meh. I like the concept, but making it blue was a poor choice in my opinion. I know it's supposed to represent dairy, but I think the color looks weird. And it has the most passable features ever. The flowers are some cool ramps, but that's all you got really. Granted, they get a fair bit of points because there's so many of them. The accessibility is the most polarizing thing about this place, because on one hand, you've got a Peach Stadium carrying your accessibility with all its might, but it's located at a farm. The only reason its points are so high for this criteria is because the farm itself has actually got some stands for people, and Peach Stadium. And finally, how could they do the food so poorly? 11 characters don't get their costumes. There aren't too many interesting things to say about this one, but I think the aesthetic is definitely the highlight of the store, with its warm and inviting atmosphere, serving hot bakery goods in the middle of the snow. It clashes a bit, and I'll admit, it could have the colors a little darker, but for what it's worth, it gets the job done for a cozy little bakery. The snowmen outside sell it too. I also appreciate that there are a couple of road routes heading to this little place, and there are plenty of houses surrounding it and leading up to it. Definitely one of the better rest spots for sure. It all comes downhill from there though, since while I understand not going over the top on features, the skiers and snowboarders would miss them here. There isn't very much to do besides use the road barriers, and 9 characters miss out on a costume here. Genuinely, I think this one is identical in stats to the one I just talked about. There is basically nothing different at all. These bone Yoshis, man, I'm love struck. However, what gets me is that it's basically at the same level of accessibility as a store we're gonna get to later, with the main road helping it with some points, along with being pretty close to Faraway Oasis. It just has many dirt roads leading up to said store, and it's in a pretty remote area, so I can't give it much more. The features are where it dies though, because there's a P-switch and a grind rail, and the rail doesn't do anything substantial. Boring! At least we got a couple costumes to this place. Only 8 people missed out. This is like the store of all time. It's okay dining for the Toad's Factory employees and decent for families traveling to Mario Circuit, but the Toad's Factory employees already have better options. You've also got some nice aesthetics on the storefront. It looks kind of like a pizza oven, which makes sense, but it's nothing special. And the red and green makes me think that Mario and Luigi should have been working here instead of playing Kart. There could be millionaires working as franchisees. Around the store, it's quite nothing. The freeway has some dash panels and there's a power line behind the store, however there's no substance, they just exist. The pizza also disables 5 people for the... Why did I say disables? For the costumes.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Keep the donuts coming, Mario Kart. These are such a joy to look at. And they make me super hungry. I'm Should I order some Krispy Kreme? Now, this is lodged between Peach Stadium and Choco Mountain, so there's going to be some serious foot traffic between these two. The problem is, that's if the freeway isn't taken. Who wants to drive on a dirt road voluntarily? Unless you got a Hilux. There really isn't much reason to come here other than the prospect of going to 2 sick races though, because there's nothing fun here. Nada. Just some grass and some benches for the oldies. But at least the food is worth getting for a guaranteed costume. The fact of the matter is that this is where this aesthetic belongs. That was a hard sentence to say. Man, this one is the first one I've actually seen that's in the rainforest biome, and I think it actually fits better here. It's great that Owen Grady and co can appreciate this store for what it is. It's so close to Jurassic Park. I mean, Dino Jungle. Main drive-thru as well. It's a shame it was using dinosaur meat for the main course, so I don't think they'd enjoy that. I think they'd only come once and leave though, because this store features are just not there. It would have been super funny to put a dinosaur near the store to fully capitalize on the theme, but I understand why they didn't. It definitely would have made the features better than just a grind rail, but I digress. Finally, costumes here are accessible to everyone but 8 here. This is almost prime Toad's Factory dining. Comes with all the crap food you could ever want. Literally, because this place serves all 9 of the snack items instead of a group of 3 like other stores. I also love how this one looks like a 7-Eleven. I never noticed that and now I can't unsee it. The great spot outside Toad's Factory really gives this one the convenience factor most of these need. That being said, holy moly, this place is boring. It would be so much more fun to visit here if there was any substance to the features of the store, but there just isn't. Imagine you could jump on the shipping containers? If there was a fun way to do so, I would have given it more points, but you've got to slowly drive up the mountain and it's so boring. Out of the 72 outfits you can get, 20 of them are unavailable. Yes, 72 outfits. Damn. When I started this, I didn't even notice the lava-covered Yoshis. Those customers better be careful because the aesthetic is fire. The colors of it blend nicely with the Rocky Mountains, and I love the windows being caged, but that might not be safe. Anyway, despite it being somewhat near Warrior Stadium, there's already a diner near the entranceway that is closer, so I feel as if this store is a bit unnecessary. I like the mission inclusion here, but that's literally everything here. The Powerline grind rails are way too far off entry to be counted as a feature here. It doesn't help that you've got a stadium stealing the store's spotlight in terms of fun. One thing though, the food doesn't miss, except for one. Place Japan! Place Japan! Once again, I love the Japanese aesthetic, but it could be spicier. The features are actually pretty good here too. You've only got some fences, a peach medallion, and a mushroom box, but you can jump onto the roof and also chain some jumps together with the street lamps and trees around the store. That's the kind of fun I love. Being on a main road and also directly next to Cheap Cheap Falls really helps its accessibility as well. However, on the way in and out of Cheap Cheap Falls, you've already got 5 food trucks total serving the same food. So this one feels a bit hit or miss as a good location depending on where you're driving from. The food really messed this one up though. Only 9 characters get a costume. Going to probably the most popular area in the desert, you've got a pretty good location for a Yoshi's. This place gets a lot of points knocked down for it though, because it feels a bit redundant here. The bazaar itself has so many stalls filled with food, which are probably cheaper, and the traditional look of the place gives off the vibe that people like to home cook here. Also, besides the one mission here, there aren't any real features of this store, attracting any customers besides people who need a quick meal before they take their 10-hour drive back to Crown City. You already know how I feel about this aesthetic since it's a copy-paste, and the food not giving 4 characters costumes makes this pointless yet convenient for some store landed the 24. Again, I freaking love this lava-covered Yoshi's. It effectively tells you there's danger ahead in Warrior Stadium while not looking tacky or out of place, since the lava roof blends with the sand nicely. And the fact you're probably going to see everyone and their mum from Warrior Stadium at this store really helps on the accessibility front, given it's still in the desert. With that being said, this is one hell of a boring store. All you've got is some smashable boxes. What can you even do when they're gone? Nothing. And don't run into the petrol canisters. You might get hurt. Maybe. With Bowser Jr. only missing out on the costume, this Yoshi's lands at a 25. I'm not sure what draws me so close to the gas station aesthetic, but it just looks amazing. It suits Mario Kart World's theme as well, because you're on a road trip. And where are you stopping for food and a rest? The petrol station. The fact it's not on a dirt road either, and it's central of the 3 courses the Blue Yoshi's is also surrounded by, just leaves that one completely redundant. That being said, there are not a lot of features, unfortunately. There's a mission and some road barriers, but not much else to jump off of or utilize alongside them. There is a Vine Piranha, but it's a little too far to count in my opinion. This petrol station also serves all the snacks for 52 costumes to be given out of 72. This is a worse version of a store I'll get to later. It doesn't really utilize anything around it, and it's a big disappointment considering it's right next to a big city, that being Salty Speedway. No ramps, no nothing. It also just sits outside the city compared to the store I'm talking about, which is inside the city, docking at a point from accessibility. All this just makes the store a big fat fail, while still having a great aesthetic and a wide selection of costumes for everyone but 5. This place is super isolated. It's not like it's close to the train station either, despite there being a clear path from said station. Then again, the road afterward just kind of becomes a bit unsafe for normal cars. Karen and Co won't hesitate to complain though. With that being said, I am in love with the burger bun roof. Fits in with the surroundings and it's just so perfect for a restaurant if it wants to stand out as well. It helps that the lights on the Yoshi's roof are yellow and green for lettuce and cheese, and the poles are red for the sauce. It's a shame there aren't a lot of features, but for what it's worth, they're okay. I like the power poles, and jumping on the billboards from the road guards is satisfying. And almost anyone can get a costume from this place, hard carried by the last 2 criteria. More lava ones, please. It fits better in this biome just because of how much lava there is, obviously. And although I love the look, this place is all talk and no walk features-wise. There's a mission here and a board you can jump onto and follow with nothing else. It needs some more flair. I didn't even mean that. It's interesting because being smack bang in the middle of 4 courses would mean you want the store to bring the vibes, but it doesn't. Then again, it's in the middle of 4 courses in a scorching hot volcano biome. Curry once again carries here and puts this one at 26. This is all style and minimal substance, literally. The ice cream imported from Sky High Sundae here isn't out the ordinary for the beach, since people want to be getting a cold treat for the hot weather. Not only that, but the colors mesh pretty well and give me cold vibes for real. I love this place especially in the daytime because everything just pops out at your face. That's really it for the praises though. There isn't really anything about this place besides a bridge, so I fail to see how this could be anyone's local store. It's a bit of a shame really, because it pairs nicely with the skewers offered on the coastline nearby. Also, there is a mission and some binoculars at the store, along with a grind rail, but what are you really aiming for with the grind rail? You can't take advantage of anything with it, and it's disappointing. At least everyone can grab their costume with a McFlurry here. I'm putting these 2 stores together because they're literally right next to each other. To make it fair, I'm doing the criteria as an average of both. For the aesthetics, one looks like a scoop of ice cream, which is absolutely genius. They should have just put the cone underneath it and make it super authentic. The colors are popping so nicely with the actual racetrack and the road it's on, and I'm super in love. I would have genuinely given this a 10 out of 10 for the aesthetics if it wasn't for the store's friend over here. It's a disgrace it's taken straight from Peach Stadium's freeway. They could have made it the top of a chocolate snowball, a cupcake, a muffin. There's so many options. It's super disappointing. These 2 stores have deceptive storefronts features-wise because it may look like there's nothing, but once you start grinding on the fences and jumping on the trucks, oh my god, it is so fun. If there were a tad more explicit ramps, however, I think I would have given it more on that front. This place isn't very safe to come to though. On the way there on the mountain just before you reach it, there are roadwork barriers that aren't very secure leading up to these shops. Terrible route to go, and that other route is a massive glide down a mountain that's definitely not letting families survive. That combined with impressive features, aesthetics, and a perfect 48 costume offerings puts it at a 27. Burger bun roof! I am in love. I want 20,000 more of these, please. They're perfect. I don't think the colors of it fit the biome, but oh my god, I can't get enough of the concept. I am very hungry. Besides the burger bun roof, there isn't really much to love here. It's somewhat accessible. Freeway, check. Next to a racetrack, check. In a popular location, nah. This store is hard carried by the aesthetic because there aren't a lot of features either. There's a mission and some road barriers. Whoop-de-f***ing-do. I do like the billboards though. You can jump on those from the road barrier and it's quite fun. But there isn't much else. Sounds terrible. There are a lot of outfits you can get though. Putting this burger at a 27. I am such a big fan of the beach aesthetic. Call it love at first sight if you will. It's even so accessible to anyone. Workers coming from DK Spaceport can grab a bite on the way home, and when they're going to work they can do so as well. Plus people going on a vacation to Koopa Troopa Beach have an easy pit stop. However, the inclusion of a mission isn't enough to save this store's mostly boring exterior features wise. No ramps, no boost pads, just some boring back road. And the limited costume pool from this place brings it to a total of 27.
That's why he's the GOAT!
I've already harped on about this aesthetic, but what this store does differently is that it's got a massive tree behind it. The tree makes it feel like an adventure park. Being in the savannah doesn't help its accessibility, but being on a freeway definitely is carrying it higher. There aren't many places around it though, hence why it's not higher in accessibility points. The features as well are pretty good. You can jump on the billboard behind the store and onto the train tracks from the big tree, and there's some binoculars as well to take in the Oasis view. The costume selection here is pretty mid though, since 8 characters miss out on costume. Perfect pizza restaurant location. Right outside the culturally rich Salty Speedway positions this Yoshi's as the top spot to grab an Italian masterclass with an amazing aesthetic to go alongside it. It makes you feel right at home, and Nonno Mario's Pizza sure promises to deliver to your door and with its looks. Thanks, advertisement. I know you're 100% accurate on the looks, but man, this store is boring for Nonno's grandkids. Especially disappointing considering there's a big city right next to this place, and it doesn't really utilize anything besides a couple boats and ramps as a grind rail. The kids could play dress up though, except for the 5 unfortunate few that didn't get a costume. Very appropriate for an Oasis. This store brings back the barrel aesthetic from the DK Spaceport Underside store, and I think it fits much better here. Might as well become a millennial burger joint and put some barrels on the sides as tables. That ought to spruce things up, right? Well, it would, but it needed it yesterday. This store really could have been a 1 out of 10 in the features if it didn't have binoculars, a mission, and a question block panel within walking distance of the store. Utterly disappointing, especially because this store is quite accessible. Families on tour need this as their mid-journey cafe, and there isn't anything substantial to do for the kids. It's not the most accessible because all roads leading to it are dirt, but being in a racetrack definitely helps a ton. This store also helps people express themselves in fashion because everyone gets a costume. The more you come here, I think you'll start to have a love-hate relationship with this place. It really tries its hardest to be something great, but I think the execution is poor. To shine some light on this place, it looks pretty nice, all things considered. It might have the train aesthetic in the beach biome, but I'm not even joking when I say this. The pathways, Black Mountain, and the normal road really help this one, along with some freaking greenery and a windmill behind it. The other train Yoshi's in the beach on the dirt road was just a placeholder, I swear. This is where it kind of falls apart though, because I can see what it's doing with the features. You got the fence to jump onto the tree, followed by the mountain, and then finished by jumping onto a street light and back onto the road. After messing around, it doesn't really work because the mountain just pushes you off after a certain time, and it's not far enough to reach the pole. However, to apply the compliment sandwich, it's quite accessible just being on the coast next to Salty Speedway. Seems like fine beach dining for those who need it. The only issue is that it's pretty close to some dirt roads, but everyone on the coast is right near it, and everyone from said coast except one lone Bowser Jr. again can grab a costume. With a nearby motel and rent-a-car and 2 routes to get here, this Yoshi's is in a prime spot just outside of Crown City. I'm not sure what sane person is using the note blocks, boost pad and glider ramp from the motel to collect the Peach Medallion on the roof of the diner. But whoever is, I want to be their friend. Even though these features are a bit far from the store, they're interlinked enough where I can say they meaningfully contribute to Johnny's playground. With that being said, this store's aesthetic sticks out like a sore thumb. I'm not a fan of the pink in the grasslands, but there's nothing inherently wrong with it. Final praises have to be given to the food though, because everyone gets a costume again. This place's foot traffic would go crazy with how cramped the whistle stop train would be. Not only would you have people coming off the train, but people wanting to take the train would need to go there for their pre-2-hour train ride preparation. While the kids wait for their food, they've got some unsafe but super fun entertainment, with a cannon and jump pads that lead to a final destination, and a fun way down. I also like how the black and red metal materials look nice and match up with the station's vibes. Makes you feel like you're running a train on the almost all costume accessible food. That is one word, by the way. If I was to name any of these locations as underrated or overlooked, this would probably be the one. I mean, it's not even on the wiki. Obviously, the beach aesthetic is absolutely breathtaking, even though it's simple. I just love the colors and vibes, and I'm a sucker for it. The features are actually another highlight for me, since although once again, it's mostly just a road barrier grind rail, you can jump between the hill next to the restaurant and onto the restaurant walls, off the poles nearby. You can get some serious height. Being right near Cheap Falls definitely helps as well with accessibility, and no store nearby is serving up the same food, so it's not as redundant. The food offerings are also pretty good. 9 characters miss a costume here and 15 get one. Dandelion Depths, the margarita pizza track of all Mario Kart tracks, did something pretty remarkable. I can't believe it. I think this store being at a construction site works well, especially since it serves donuts. However, I still don't think the donut aesthetic works anywhere other than Sky High Sundae. I do love it in a vacuum, but it just shouldn't be here. I need everything neat and tidy and organized and categorized, please. Thanks. On the other hand, holy moly do I really like everything else here. If you know what you're doing, the ramp behind the store can be jumped off, then you can ride on the power pole, and then jump on the roof of the store. This is what a break from working on the Steam Gardens needs. Some action away from the main action. It's a relatively easy place to get to as well for people driving past and for workers on break, but more workers are definitely going to come here. The road isn't asphalt either, so that docks some points. You don't really see many cars come past here often. The food is loved by everyone though. Someone bring Homer here ASAP. As much as the creativity is amazing, I don't really think it belongs in the desert. There's a whole area dedicated to sweets and the colors would match more nicely there. It's a good thing there's a gigantic glider ramp behind the store, just in case you needed to quickly take a flight to the bridge nearby. It's fun, but I'm not sure whose jam that's going to be. The abundance of intersections and highways near the store does make it more accessible though. The fact it's sandwiched between two stadiums definitely helps with foot traffic. And an added bonus, everyone gets a costume.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute detail.
Everyone's coming to this store. It even has a click and collect point on the side. Who wouldn't order from there if they lived here? Even citygoers from Boo Cinema would go to this one if they needed a 2 AM feed after the club. What a beautiful exterior in a beautiful city. I love the New York Diner style logo and the plants. I feel like the two tables on the outside being the only two things directly outside the store is a little lacking though. More tables perhaps? String lights? The grind rail on the stairs near the store is great playground material, as well as the party bunting overhanging the road and the ramps on the roof. And with only one missed costume, this fabulous diner comes in at 34. Now this is prime Toad's Factory dining. What a step up from the outside version of the 7-Eleven. You could call this the 11-11. Boo! No? Alright. This one's inside the factory, so it gets some boosted accessibility points on that front. And the features, oh my god, the features. Not only do you have 2 missions and a question block panel, but you also have got so many grind rails and ramps and a clear path inside the factory and on the roof. Absolute cinema on that front. Creating your own paths to the roof when there are so many is genuinely so fun to do, and it would be crazy for anyone to dislike that. The food is the same as the outside one. All the snacks, leaving this one at a massive improvement of 34. Wow, this is beautiful. The pink restaurant returns, and man, it looks absolutely spectacular here. Pairing the restaurant with the pink pathways, cherry blossoms, the red umbrellas, and the red roof and Peach's Castle, the Toad houses. Oh, I can't get enough. It's definitely in the top 3 aesthetics because everything matches up so perfectly. And what's even better is that because this is part of the Central Stadium freeway, there is so many people that can appreciate this. So accessible. Although maybe that calls for a bigger restaurant. The features are the weakest part though, because while there are a few fun things like some note blocks, guardrails to grind on, and many dash panels, you gotta really scope the pipe cannon out to make the most of it. And it's a bit out of the way. It's not too big of a deal though. The food is also perfect for costumes. This is one of the ultimate dining experiences. Not only do you get a world-class view of Peach Stadium from here, but you also get such a pretty store and a breathtaking atmosphere with the cherry blossoms, toad houses, and pink bricks everywhere. The features here are so freaking amazing. The grind rail power line just starts behind the store, and you can climb the mountain, jump and collect some coins from the block, jump off said mountain, back on the grind rail, hit some note blocks, jump from nearby poles. Don't forget the dash panels. I could go on for so long. If this had a mission or a Peach medallion, I would have given it a 10. And of course, it's super accessible being near the center of the map and on the biggest highway. Everyone gets a costume as well. Call it the cherry on top. Now, this is the pinnacle of Yoshi's. This is the pinnacle. I can't even say anything bad about this one. Genuine perfection, from the spinning burger to the 10 million grind rails, or from the mission on the roof to the starring that launches you to a Peach medallion. Oh my god, utter perfection. The lights on the Diner Cafe are chef's kiss. The Mario Bros. Circuit sign on the right is such an expressive touch, and it's in a prime location next to the home of the Grand Prix. It's where everyone's gonna want to be. And you've got so many seats to accommodate. This doesn't get a 40 because that dumbass Bowser Jr. doesn't get a costume from the food here. But otherwise, wow. Who was expecting that ending? I know. What a crazy twist, am I right? Wow. Oh my god. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. This is my first real big project on this channel, so I spent a lot of time on it. So if you made it to the end, I really appreciate you. I hope you didn't skip all the way here. If you did make it all the way through, and you liked what you saw, I would really appreciate a subscribe and a like. I hate asking personally, but I mean, it's a good way to know if you guys like what I do and if you want to see more of this. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.